Yeah, today was really good practice. I didn't think yesterday was as good, and so I got on them a little bit. They responded really well today. Enthusiasm was good. The engagement of being in every play was good. So it was got a lot of good work in today.
Where would you like to see the most improvement from week 1 to week 2 on both sides of the ball?
Well, defensively, I think we played tentatively a little bit at times, and you know, we weren't as active before or after the snap as we can be. And then offensively, you know, execution in the passing game, particularly early in the game, wasn't where it should be. But you know, we've worked hard on it this week, and we know we got to play better Saturday night.
How did you feel about the defensive line rotations? How they went? You know, the groups that you had in there on Saturday.
They did okay. It was good. We rolled them in there pretty consistently, so they all had about the same number of plays, which is your ideal thing. We're forcing ourselves to play more people. It's a long season, and guys get banged up, but we've got to play more people on both sides of the ball, and we're able to do that Saturday, of course, but we've got to do it every week.
We always hear this reference to setting the edge. What does that mean exactly?
Well, we lost contain on some plays when we shouldn't lose contain. You know, sometimes it's challenging when they do a great job of play faking or the quarterback scrambles around. But when we have a responsibility to keep the edge and keep contained, we got to make sure we do that and not let him get outside the defense.
Is that a harder thing sometimes for younger defensive ends than just using their talent to go after the quarterback?
Well, yeah, I think there's always an experienced guy can get clues or ideas of when maybe they're going to try to break contain on them. But you know, for us, it wasn't just young guys that lost contain. It was upperclassmen as well. And sometimes, frankly, we just got chopped down, and we haven't worked as much on chop blocks live, and that was an issue as well.
Was there anything with their zone blocking, some of those big runs that they had that you assessed that went wrong? Or?
Yeah, we didn't fit right. You know, normally when they bust a big play like that, you have a guy that doesn't, you know, fit his gap the right way on defense, and or gets displaced too wide from his gap. That's usually what happens.
If their quarterback ends up being Kyle Allen, what sort of challenges would he present to you guys?
Well, I know we've known Kyle. I've known him for a long time. He's a great thrower. He's an athletic guy, and he's got experience. He's played in SEC games. He's obviously he's an older guy that knows the system. So, you know, he's a really, really good player. Everybody in the country wanted him.
When you're evaluating quarterbacks in recruiting, what are you looking for when you watch their film or when you talk to them? What are some things you look for?
Well, you know, just say it's not everybody's looking for the same thing. You want a guy that can throw, and if he's athletic enough to run or, you know, move around a little bit, that's a bonus. And then the other part, obviously, is a guy that knows how to, you know, manage a game and takes care of the ball and all that stuff. You know, quarterbacks is an interesting evaluation. You know, sometimes guys will see, you know, potential and recruit that way, but most people look at, okay, what kind of production does he have, and does he have enough skill set to be successful at this level? That's what we look at. I don't look so much at, oh, this guy could be, you know, potentially in 2, 3, or 4 years. I want to look at a guy that can be ready to go pretty quick.
When you assess the quarterbacks at this point in time on your roster, is it by plan that Khalil Tate goes in the last 3 out of 4 times and your guy's own 5-yard line? Is that something by design?
What's that?
When Khalil Tate goes into the game inside the 5 the last 3 out of 4 times that he's been in the game?
Inside the 5 coming out or going in?
Going in.
Oh, no, it was his turn. You know, it's not like he's like a short yardage or red zone quarterback. You know, Brandon was 1 and Khalil was 2, and you know, Rhett and Donovan were probably 3, 3A and 3B. But yeah, that's kind of what the rotation still is at this point.
Either while it was happening or after it happened, did you allow yourself to enjoy the fact that Rhett got to play? From a personal standpoint?
Yeah, when it happened, it was so quick because he got hurt. It wasn't like a plan before the series, Rhett go in. So I don't think he or I had time to think about it. It was just like the next guy in. But after the game, it was really neat, you know, because he got in and we won, and he scored. That's even a bonus. So, you know, those guys, all those guys that scored their first touchdown, Brandon Leon and Tony Ellison and Rhett, you know, to get their first touchdowns, I think a pretty big deal, and they'll remember it for a long time.
What did he say to you about it? Was there anything that stood out in your conversation, like that maybe surprised him at all about just the experience of being in there at that level?
No, he didn't. After the game, I said, "Were you a little nervous?" And I'm sure he was, but he didn't really have time to get nervous, so that was probably a good thing. Like the same with all the other freshmen.
So you guys rotated running backs too pretty regularly. Did you like how that worked out? Did it seem like you guys were able to maintain a good rhythm?
I did. We came in with probably 3 or even 4 with Brandon Leon that we felt comfortable experience-wise, and we weren't sure we were going to play Nathan, but the way the game was going and the way he's been practicing, we got to get him some experience, and it's a long season. So feel good with all 5. We're giving all 5 reps in practice.
Once a quarterback gets here, how much of them living up to their potential has to do with coaching? How much of it is their own approach and
it's a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Certainly, Rod Smith does a great job with those development, but the quarterback, just like all the positions, but especially quarterback, you got to be a gym rat mentality-wise and want to learn not just what you do, but what everybody does. And that's the thing we've probably been trying to stress more and more, recently, is for those guys. I don't want them just to understand what they do and how they do it, but what everybody's doing, and that takes an extra commitment and an extra want to learn all that. And our guys have shown that so far in the last 5 weeks and really over the last couple months.
The NCAA has talked about a proposed rule where a guy could transfer right away depending on GPA. From a football standpoint, how would that?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's a bad idea at this level. I don't. I'm sure there'll be rules about tampering or whatever, but I don't. The graduate transfer, I understand, and there's been some complaints about that. But have just an open at this level with as much time and money it's committed to recruiting to get a guy, to sign a guy. I'm talking about legally, legally, the time and money and visits and all that, and all of a sudden a year later or something he can just transfer without sitting out. I think that's a bad idea for Division I football anyway.
What did the defensive staff say to you about how they thought about Dane's first game in the new position?
Dane? Yeah, I thought he played solid though. I think I can't remember what his grade was. Overall, we didn't grade out well as a defense, but Dane I thought looked like he was pretty comfortable in there. But there's a lot of things that he can get better at too, and we can as a unit.
Okay.